So as you heard in the two talks before, we talked mainly upon the applications and how that has been done. Today, what I would like to cover more from the materials perspective. So what materials go into the IME? So my talk today is on next generation assembly materials, interconnect technologies to make smart and functional surfaces. So what I thought I will cover today is mainly 5 different buckets. So the first bucket, before going into, just give a quick overview of who we are as a MacDermid assembly materials, and then 1 or 2 slides on the introduction of what IME is. I think with the previous presentations that pretty much covered. And then before I go into the product performance of the inks and the dielectrics and ECA, when I say if the inks perform 30% or 40%, what do we mean by that? So I will cover a little bit on metrology. So when I show the product performance, it will make more sense. And then we'll cover the 3 products, which are the formable silver inks, dielectric inks, and conductive adhesives. And these need to be intercompatible with each other. So we'll cover a little bit on that. And then once these products are put together, how they need to be compatible with each other, injection moldability of those, show few functional demonstrators, and then kind of a quick overview. So that's the layout of my presentation, and I will try to cover that in the next 20 minutes or so. Wanted to cover a little bit more into reliability, but I think today we'll not get a chance to go into that. So we, as a MacDermid Alpha Electronic Materials, are part of a parent company called Element Solutions Inc. And we play into various segments. What I wanted to cover today was the MEIS and the MacDermid Alpha Electronic Solutions. So MEIS, you might have heard, we supply some of the functional substrates or films, such as the PET substrates, then the polycarbonate substrates with different hard coats, like anti-fingerprint, anti-scratch, anti-glare. So those substrates are provided by our sister company, Films Inc. And myself, I come from the electronic materials, where we supply various soldering materials, inks, dielectrics. And what we wanted to do was bring the synergy of both. And that's what we'll try to cover in the next slide of the convergence. But before going into, we play into each of the various vertical supply chains, starting with the device manufacturing, materials, circuit fabrication, in component assembly. We are one of the largest supplier of solder paste, and we play into various supply chains into consumer electronics, white goods, automotive electronics, and lighting. So as I mentioned, what we wanted to do was really have the convergence of the substrates and the inks. So when we come to the end customers, you already have the synergy of the optimal substrates, the know-how from the electronic inks, and bringing some of the knowledge from the process and the application standpoint. So when our customer looks into that, they have a lot of know-how from all the material standpoint. So I will try to cover some of those in my presentation today. So I will skip some of the introduction, but we are a truly global company with footprint in various R&D, like locations, R&D sites, manufacturing sites, and customer support. So that's the footprint of our company. So I will very quickly go through, as I mentioned, my first one was what is IME, and we'll cover a little bit few bullets into that. So when we look from the electronic standpoint, traditionally, most of the in-mold decoration, or sometimes it's also called FIM part, so that integration from the films was done in a separately, independently. The traditional electronics that goes on all the components and passives and processors that used to go on a rigid FR4 board, so that functional electronics was done separately. And then injection molding or integration was done separately. The way we look at IME is integration of these 3 different separate discrete entities that have been integrated together for a much better value add for the end customer, and to make even more sophisticated, smart, functional structures. So I think Novem and the team has covered. I will not go into the more details. But when we look into IME, we are looking lots of pull into in-vehicle infotainment, as we had seen into. And we think these are some of the real optimal ideal applications, such as in-vehicle infotainment, overhead console panels. But as cars start to become more